The key element to optimal experience is that it's an end in and of itself. Mihai Cins and Mihai flow. The term autotelic comes from the Greek words auto, self, and telos, go. Autotelic activities are self-contained. They are performed without expectation of future benefit. For instance, creating content to merely gain popularity isn't autotelic. Doing it to prove your skills and be creative is. Similarly, coding just to land a high-paying job isn't autotelic, but doing it because you genuinely love it certainly is. Autotelic experiences enrich our lives in profound ways. Besides providing sheer enjoyment, they allow us to reach higher states of consciousness, increase our mind's capabilities, be free from the entropy of mundane existence, align with primary cosmic principles, and expand beyond self-imposed limitations. In this one, we will explore all these, plus a few tactics to make your life more autotelic. For those new to my work, I go by the name of POTB. I am a creator focusing on topics like psychology, philosophy, human potential, and creativity. When they make sense, I also incorporate esoteric perspectives. Whatever the case, I always strive to make my content aesthetically pleasing. And recently, I also began incorporating discussions of the tools I use. So stick around if that sounds interesting, and if it doesn't, don't. Autotelic Experiences. Autotelic experiences go hand in hand with intrinsic motivation. We engage in an activity purely for the inherent satisfaction and fulfillment it provides, so external rewards do not matter. Autotelic experiences were popularized by Mihai Cins and Mihai, who described them as moments of flow, as covered later in those we are fully immersed, maximally enjoying the task at hand. Exotelic Experiences. Exotelic experiences are basically the opposite. Tied to extrinsic motivation, these can be done for a specific outcome, including making money, getting approval, or social validation, etc. Most activities aren't wholly auto or exotelic, but a combination of both. For creators, the first can be scripting, filming B-roll, and editing. The second, setting your shot and presenting in front of the camera, or vice versa. For experienced gym rats, it can be hitting the gym. Presumably, you already look great and enjoy bodybuilding. Nonetheless, you strive to improve your physique, like I do. Mastery. Autotelic experiences are seldom readily available. They are enabled as a byproduct of relentless skill acquisition and improvement, and that is actually driven by extrinsic motivation. It is really your degree of mastery and preliminary dedication that unlocks them. Most enjoyable activities are not natural. They demand an effort that initially one is reluctant to make, but once interaction starts to provide feedback to the person's skills, it usually begins to be intrinsically rewarding. Flow. While exceptions can be enjoying a landscape or a sunset, flow experiences happen within activity sequences. They are impossible without skills and demand clear-cut goals and investment of attention, which Mihai Cins and Mihai calls psychic energy. Takumis. A great example of individuals living quote-unquote autotelic lives is the Japanese Takumis. The word Takumi translates into artisan or skilled, symbolizing craftsmanship and excellence. Takumis refine their skills to an incredible mastery. They spend their time flowing and as a result actually live longer. From porcelain and gadget makers to animators, the book Ikigai gives Takumis as an example to inspire, whereas Steve Jobs genuinely studied them when building Apple. Flow. We found every flow activity, whether it involved in a competition, chance, or any other dimension of experience, had this in common. It provided a sense of discovery, a creative feeling of transporting the person into a new reality. It pushed the person to higher levels of performance and led to previously undreamed stages of consciousness. In short, it transformed the self by making it more complex. In this growth of the self lies the key to flow activities. Flow. Neither boredom nor anxiety are positive experiences. Flow happens between both. Reality's challenges are not too easy to bore and make us quit, nor too challenging to invoke stress and also make us quit. They are in perfect balance, keeping us entangled with it, which esoteric schools call love on the wheel, we'll discuss in a moment. And the more entangled we stay, the more the universe provides new challenges to overcome and develop. The universe is playing you. Esoterically, the universe unites different aspects of itself under its own rules, renovating with new aggregates of experiences, which are your progress. Cross-culturally, the genius DJ Geburah, the ultimate turntablist to ever live, says, "You're not playing the instrument, you're the instrument, and the universe is playing you." According to his crewmate, the one and only Distaus, you're just in there. To a student of Kabbalistic psychology and turntablism, this sounds like flowing within the constraints the universe provides. Pleasure versus enjoyment. Most people alternate meaningless work they're paid to do with meaningless activities of pleasure and leisure. The first can be a dead-end 9-to-5, school, or getting a degree. The second, drugs and booze, frequent eating, fapping. scrolling and hanging out with people you don't care about or trying to prove something to the same. Both groups rob you of your psychic energy and neither develops you. They provide no meaningful challenges or opportunities to improve, and there's also no joy. Esoterically, those and the people doing them can be viewed as parts of the darkness of the star goddess's body. Let me know if you agree. Now, while pleasure-conducive experiences can be also enjoyable, the two sensations are much different. Not requiring attention or skills, pleasure is available to anyone at any time. Conversely, enjoyment entirely depends on those. Self-complexity. Flow experiences elevate our existence to new heights. They provide structure, replacing hopelessness and boredom with a sense of control, purpose and enjoyment. They free us from randomness and service of external goals. They make us achieve what Gurdjieff called higher states of being, a concept stressed by Don Webb, influenced by both Gurdjieff and Csikszentmihalyi. Autotelic experiences make us forget all unpleasant aspects of life. Unlike purely pleasurable, enjoyable activities actually require a complete focus of attention. They leave no space for all irrelevant to the task at hand, which can be writing, playing, producing, drawing, designing, training, etc. The self becomes more complex as a result of experiencing flow. Paradoxically, it is when we act freely for the sake of the action itself rather than for ulterior motives that we learn to become more than what we were. When we choose a goal and invest ourselves in it to the limit of our concentration, whatever we do will be enjoyable. And once we have tasted this joy, we will redouble our efforts to taste it again. Flow. Mentioning control, flow experiences may seem to involve exerting plenty. In reality, during them, you do not worry about losing control, typical or even necessary for a situation. Autotelic activities are designed to make optimal experiences readily achievable, and as covered, this includes rules and regulations, the necessity of skills, and clear-cut goals. Distinguishing an activity from the mundane existence, they are all part of what makes the experience unique. Saturn. Esoterically, the autotelic experiences have to do with Bina, the sphere of Saturn. They let us overcome entropy, randomness, and the not so favorable inertia of the universe, all governed by Saturn. They require peak focus and not paying attention to anything else, Saturn. They can only happen under set rules and regulations, which is also Saturn. These rules and regulations direct our attention just like Bina provides form to the force of Chokmah. Love on the wheel. Flow states bring psychic negentropy or order. You can think of this as both aspects of Saturn, Bina, the sphere of Babylon, who is Nuit. Flow states are sometimes explained as love on the wheel and vice versa, especially considering Mihai Csikszentmihalyi and Peter J. Carroll regard attention as an expression of Kia, the life force, who is Hadith. We have the totality of experiences, including chaos and order, in the face of rules, regulations, goals, and feedback, Nuit. We also have their single point perceiver, your life force, expressing through attention, Hadith. Let me know your thoughts. Psycho-Cybernetics. Deep flow makes us lose our egos in something greater. This allows you to modify or remove preconceived notions and dogmas, expanding what Psycho-Cybernetics calls your self-image. Self-image is the narrative or concept you have about yourself, the blueprint of who you think yourself to be. Whatever its boundaries, you act within them. Hence, Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics inventor, says, paraphrasing, those perceiving themselves as failure will always fail, whereas those viewing themselves as a success will ultimately succeed. Your self-image is like a box, beyond which flow states help you expand. Technically, you are also aligned with the principle of cybernetics as you persevere toward the goal, navigating through regulations and feedback like a missile. Let me know if you agree. Being able to forget temporarily who we are seems to be very enjoyable. When not preoccupied with ourselves, we actually have a chance to expand the concept of who we are. Loss of self-consciousness can lead to self-transcendence, to a feeling that the boundaries of our being have been pushed forward. Flow. Considering this, flow states allow us to tap to the higher realms of Atzilut and Bria, attributed to fire and water, and both associated with performative states. Basically, they allow us to reform our self-images and personal limitations. Hesed and Geburah. This alludes to the principles of Hesed and Geburah. The first expands beyond limitations, the second eliminates what doesn't serve a purpose. Practitioners might find external expansion happens only if they eliminate purposeless flow from their internal world. And when moving in the tree from bottom to top, Geburah actually comes first. Let me know if that's you, and also think of the Tower card. You cannot build or expand anything significant on a rotten or crappy base. Flow states balance Geburah's elimination and destruction and Hesed's expansiveness, creating unique state of freedom within boundaries. Being Bina on a lower arc, Geburah trims distractions. Hesed or Chokmah on a lower arc allows the self to transcend its limitations. And once more, we have a controlled focus and expansive creativity unified in moments of transformative growth. Entities. Sustaining flow for long enough can result in a sense of connecting to or uniting with entities who Csikszentmihalyi calls the other, whereas esotericists spirits. No matter how solitary, autotelic activities connect you to the group mind or egregor of the people involved in them. Now, the term egregor is derived from the Greek egregoros, meaning wakeful or watcher. According to Mark Stavish, that is, a home or conduit for specific psychic intelligence of a non-human nature, connecting the invisible dimensions with the material world. An autonomous psychic entity composed of and influencing the thoughts of a group of people. According to French Freemason Robert Abmelin, an egregor is a force generated by powerful spiritual currents and subsequently nourished at regular intervals in harmony with the cosmos, or by a gathering of entities united by a shared characteristic. Egregors' physical bodies are the members of groups, cultures, ideologies, companies, etc. For surgeons, that may be the group of participants involved in the operations. For solitary sailors or musicians, all others doing their craft, and for coders, their team. In the words of Csikszentmihalyi, there's actually nothing mystical in that. When a person invests all her psychic energy into an interaction, whether it is with another person, a boat, a mountain, or a piece of music, she in fact becomes part of a system of action greater than what the individual self had been before. This system takes its form from the rules of the activity, its energy comes from the person's attention, but it is a real system subjectively, as real as being part of a family, a corporation, or a team. And the self that is part of it expands its boundaries and becomes more complex than what it had been. Flow. Now, a few interesting facts. The Kabbalistic term for a particular sephirotic entity is intelligence. According to Mixmaster Mike, scratching is another form of intelligence the turntablist communicates with. And according to Geburah, all turntablists are connected like Jedi by the Force. In his best-selling Modern Magic, Donald Michael Craig stresses that more profound understanding can only be obtained through higher realm entities. This is all about practicing, but it isn't limited to ritual. It actually involves your autotelic activities, and the more you practice building your skills, the more that applies. Logotherapy. Engaging in activities for their own sake finds common grounds with logotherapy's primary goal, identifying and living a self-determined purpose. Ikigai scholars emphasize the importance of flow and taking notes from Frankl to live your Ikigai. Your meaning extends into the future, whereas flow is all about the now. Nevertheless, they complement each other in various ways. Both defy the psychoanalytic notion that past experiences and desire for pleasure control us. It is the desire for meaning, growth, and enjoyment that really drives us. For him, it was writing the manuscript that kept him focused, alive, and substantially isolated from the horrors of the concentration camps. Let me know what is for you, and now let's cover a few tactics to help make your life more autotelic. Practical tips. Challenges. Pick activities that are just hard enough to make you stretch, but not so hard to overwhelm you. Such a sweet spot keeps you engaged, letting you develop. Basically, it also keeps you intrinsically motivated. Mental versus physical. Identify what activities make you fall more easily. For some, those are primarily mental, for others physical, or a combination of both. Curiosity. To help with the former, become a lifelong learner. Instead of focusing on outcomes, like external outcomes, engage your childlike curiosity and do things because of themselves. Purpose and meaning. Ensure your flow activities align with what Frankl called meaning or purpose. This puts your autotelic experiences on steroids. Knowing you turn your potential into reality while actually enriching the universe guarantees long-term engagement. No reward, no punishment. If that's new to you, learn to engage in activities purely because of themselves and not to make money, increase status, or whatever. Said differently, cultivate intrinsic motivation. No distractions. Set time aside and create an environment with no interruptions. Put your phone in airplane mode and use Pomodoro apps like the one actually named Flow, not sponsored. If needed, limit your options to prevent willpower depletion and decision fatigue from sabotaging your ability to problem solve and focus. Optimize your body. Distractions aren't limited to notifications and life's randomness. Mental and physical fatigue, mindless hunger, and cravings for sex could be even worse. So rather than considering nootropics, avail of the transformative powers of OMAD, NoFap, ancestral eating, and daily exercise. While beyond the scope of this post, these are non-negotiables without which I'd never be able to build my skills and ability to focus. Take that very seriously. Reverse engineer. If needed, dedicate time to reverse engineer something or build a tangible plan to up your skills. Ask yourself, what would be the most readily accessible way for you to master something, i.e., your autotelic activity. Embrace failure. Rather than fearing it, consider failure as getting feedback. An approach or technique not working is merely a signal to adjust it or try another. Build skills. As covered, without skills there is no flow, so regular practice of your chosen activities is nothing short of an essential. The better your skills, the more complex and meaningful challenges the universe unfolds, which are in fact deeper mysteries. But that's just my opinion. Let me know if you agree, consider subscribing to the channel, check the links in the description, and thank you for your time.